Hi everyone, this is Omar with Eclipse Software, and I wanted to make a video today talking about how I work on making estimates when I'm starting a new project. So I have my Apple Notes here open, and this is the first step that I do. Is usually when I'm communicating with my client, and he owns an agency, and I work with other clients' projects through him. So what I do is he sends me a video and I would watch his video and I'll take notes on the video and get the main points lined out here. Obviously I want to have all the parts in my head, and I might watch the video a couple times if I feel like I might have missed something. So just to make sure I got all the pieces there, and then I'll go and pick out in this second part down here, I'll go and pick out I've titled it Deliverables. I'm just taking the main components of the project, separating them into bullet points so that I can assign them an hourly figure each one. Each part has its own bullet point and sub bullet points here. And so once I have that, actually, you know what I first do when I write out the bullet points and I'm first writing them out, I would like to go and do a very first rough draft I'll just write the first number that comes to mind for these things without really thinking more deeply into it. And that way I have a rough draft in my head and I have some number to go off of when I'm going and paring it down or adjusting my estimate. It's good to have a number already there for me because it gives me something to work with. It feels more daunting if I'm making an estimate. Now I have all these parts and I haven't written any numbers down. So if I can get something down, even if it might be way off, I'll come back and correct it later. I'll just have, I'll just write 4 or I'll write 6 or whatever, and then I'll come back and review again. So after that, I'll do a couple more rounds of extra review. So I'll check this. I'll look at the sub bullet points for each item, and sometimes I'll write the hours on the sub bullets if they feel like that I can break them up enough to write the hours on the sub bullets. And then what I'm doing up here is I have my estimate for how long it's going to take, and for each one I have an extra. This is how long my final thought is that it will take for the slider up here. I say 4 hours. Then the plus 1 hour is extra time that I think I might need to actually finish this thing, because the estimate for me is it's hard to estimate correctly. It's good to be able to leave a margin of error if it's possible with the market and with the client. These are kind of the numbers I'll be working with. So I mean, here 5 hours plus 2 hours. The number of hours depends on how much I feel like there might be unexpected things coming up and stuff like that. If it's really something or something you don't have much experience in, and you're going to give an estimate for how much your time it's going to take, it might make sense to double or times more the project, because I've definitely done projects where I estimated the time at half or a third or something of what it actually ended up taking, or a quarter of what it ended up taking. So, but that, with more experience, hopefully that will improve. But I always like to stay aware that these things will often end up taking time, and sometimes, obviously a nasty bug can end up taking several hours, which would, a bug that takes several hours is not all that common for what I'm doing, but when it does happen, it really would eat into, a 12-hour. If I had a 12-hour estimate, I spent 4 hours on a bug. That's 30%, which is a lot. So so basically, once I have all these numbers and I'm feeling good about them, I'll take them all again and I'll just copy all of this, and then I'm going to go into Google Sheets here, and I have what I did last time here, but I'll just paste a new one in so I can explain it to you, and I'll title it down here. video. And so, yeah, I'll Control V, I'll paste everything in. I'll stretch this out. I'll go in format so that the text wraps. And then I will just go along down and get the numbers from each one and put them in the number column here. So 5, 7, I'm adding those numbers up. Each time there's an added number, I'll put it in there. It might be a good idea to go and highlight the main headings there, or highlight the ones that have numbers on them. Could help you to separate things out. So that's what I do at this point, and then I like to go through, and there's a couple things to do here, and one of them that I like to do is just kind of, if there's things that I group together, if there's things that are similar, like these two items were actually they're both part of the API, and what I would do is I would ask, does it make sense that adding these things together, it actually comes out to that much time? And it turned out actually that this was too much time for this estimate for these items, and I might want to. This is my final review when I'm in the Excel sheet here, so I can. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, so I like to just make sure I'm not going too much here and not going too little as well. So I'll come in and maybe I'll just adjust the number here. Maybe I'll adjust this down to 5. Maybe I'll adjust this one down to 2 or 3. Or whatever, and then I'll go through and make sure all these numbers are correct. Maybe I'll say that these, one of them could be grouped into something else, and I'll just remove it completely. And I don't want to encourage you to make your estimate too small, because it ends up being bad news later on. But also, it's important to be competitive with the marketplace, and if your estimate is too high, you're just not going to get the job. So that's not good either. But I guess with experience, you'll it's easier to find a good ground how to make them correctly. But yeah, so once I have done that review here on the Excel sheet, I'll go and I'll just add these all up, make sure I get them all there. And I'm using that sum equation, equals sum. So now that's I'll write total here. And then now what I do is I do the total plus 20%. So I'm writing plus 20%. If you type the little, what's it called? This single colon or single quote, that will make it read it as a text, because otherwise I think Excel reads 20 plus 20% as a formula. So I'll do, the next column is going to be plus 20%, so I'll take that number and multiply it by 1.2 or 1.15, so either 15 or 20%. Because the way I'm doing it right now is I'll consider what I would charge hourly for these items, and then I'll add on 15 or 20%. Because I'm taking on the risk of having to eat the cost of not finishing the project in my estimated time. So if I have the option to be working hourly for a rate, I want to be making more than that if I'm working on a fixed price instead. So I'm aiming for 15 or 20% over what my hourly rate would be, and hopefully even a little extra could be made with that if your estimates are good. And if my estimates are bad, I make less, which is also that's part of the reason why it can be difficult to do fixed price, because you can make a lot less than you thought, but I think it's great encouragement to get projects done on time and focus on the important things. But anyway, so we're down here, and I add the 20%, and then I take that and multiply it by my hourly rate of 50. So I will go and in this one, I can write at 50 per hour. And then that'll give me a number right down there. And that should be, this is like my preliminary final total. If I feel like it's too much, maybe I'll go up here and I can just like adjust one of the numbers. And if I see something that looks like it's too big, I could bring it down. Maybe I'll do this times 1.15, could bring it down a little bit instead of 1.2. It all depends. What I like to do here is also take a look at it and ask myself, like, is this a value-based estimate, or is this a good value? Is this a good cost for the value the client is receiving for the product or the service that they're receiving? So what I mean is, like, I like to think in terms of, is this like something that I would value as being worth this much? Would somebody want to pay this much, or would somebody want to pay even more for this product? So that's like, I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. It might not necessarily affect my estimate, but sometimes it will. Because the way I'm doing it is I go right now with the projects I'm doing, I go mainly based on how long it's going to take me, and then adding a little on top of that. But if I feel like the client wants to pay more for if I feel like the value of the service they're getting is more than my estimate, then I'll increase it. Or if I feel like it's too much, what they're buying here is not worth that much, I'll see if I can decrease it. And if I have to decrease it so much that I feel like it's not worth the job anymore, maybe I won't take that project, or maybe I'll try and work with the client and see if they could remove some of the items up here to get it down to their budget, or to get it down to what they want to pay, or to what they would feel would be a valuable exchange. So that would be the final item there, just going, making sure it's your estimate is good. Maybe, like, let's say for this one, maybe the value they were getting, maybe the client's budget was a little bit less. I could do some more calculations down here and say, like, I'll just write, like, I'll statically write a number in and say, like, okay, this is how much I might want to charge, and then I can go and, like, I can do some more checks down here or whatever. Like, okay, so if it's 1,000, then how much is this? I'll do it underneath, actually. So then, if I divide that by 50, I have to finish everything in 20 hours. So I don't get that, like, that bonus, or like that margin of error. So, I can go around and play with it here until I feel like it's a good number. And then I'll go ahead and I'll write a message. I'll just say, maybe I'll list out the deliverables, and I'll give the price for what I feel like I can do that project for, and see what the client says back. So that's my process right now for making estimates. And yeah, so if you have any questions, leave me a comment, or if you like this video, you can consider subscribing to my channel. I put out videos pretty frequently, and thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped you. All right, goodbye and good luck.